coming back at you with another video. So, this is going to be about my uncle who got deported many, many times to the point where he's still over there right now. So, there's a whole story involved with it that doesn't make any sense. So, I'll gladly tell you the story. Okay. So, my uncle's name was Uncle Rigo. Rigo. I wish that it could have been Rico, because then I would obviously be making Napoleon Dynamite references, but his name was Uncle Rigo. Okay? And I'm not exactly sure how he made it to the States, because he was an illegal immigrant, through and through. But somehow he was able to finesse his way into multiple jobs. I don't know how. But what ended up happening was my dad he was a bartender. And he was a bartender at this place in El Segundo. And then my uncle, who I've made the video of the fooliest fool I've ever met or whatever, him and my dad had a little operation going where someone would slide the money, and then under the napkin somebody would put the coke and slide it over, and they never got caught. So but people were probably not as much on the lookout for that. So anyways, that's the connection between my dad and my Uncle Rigo. And this uncle, he's not a blood uncle. He's by marriage. So what it is it's really weird. This one hotel, my dad was the bartender, my Uncle Rigo was the chef, my aunt was a waitress, and another aunt that I had was a waitress. And they didn't really know each other, honestly. They didn't really know each other. But, if you spend time with people, an extended amount of time, you get close and whatever. So, they were working, and for some reason, and to this day, nobody knows why, but my aunt, I don't want to use her real name, but let's just say my aunt Catherine. Okay. So, for some reason, she hates Mexican food. She hates Mexican, not hate, but she doesn't like Mexican food. She doesn't like pretty much anything of that culture. Not that she's racist or anything, but it was just literally there was every single thing that she didn't like about a guy, Uncle Rigo had that going for him. And they say love is blind. I've been in a position like that before, where everybody else can see it, but you can't. So I can't really blame her. So anyways, what ends up happening is, they all work together, and my Uncle Rigo, he was the chef. And his main dish that he would make is what is it called? Oh yeah, crack cocaine. That's what he was cooking up. Crack cocaine. Obviously not at the restaurant, but that's what he did in his spare time. He was a straight up crackhead. It is what it is. So he had gotten in trouble a couple times, and he had gone to jail a couple times. And all this happened. I have a cousin that is his son, and it's like he kind of got him into crack. And my cousin was only 16 years old, so it was pretty young. And a lot of my friends, like Redondo kids, Torrance kids, like he came around one year, and like he hung out with us and everything. He's one of those people that comes to the to the West Coast, and you take him to In and Out, and he's just like, whatever, it's not that great. Like, there's just people like that. Like, I don't know. So, anyways, the like Rico, he's getting in trouble constantly, and first it's like suspensions, and then whatever. I'm sure they needed people at the time, but what ended up happening is he got fired, and he like the government knew that he was cooking crack. Like, they knew. He did it at home. Like, he even got my cousin hooked on it when he was 16. And side note, this is a funny story, that when my cousin came to the West Coast for the first time, I had never really met him before or anything, and we were sitting on opposite sides of the room, and he's like 8, 10 years older than me, and like me and him are like making eye contact because like our moms are talking, and he looks at me and he just goes, and I'm like, yeah. And like that was it. Like, that was all that needed to be pantomimed, or whatever you want to call it. So I thought that was funny, like, and honestly, like, I really feel for my cousin, because like basically his dad was getting in so much trouble that he got locked up, and when he got out, the government straight up told him, if you cook crack again, you are going to be deported. Like, you're not going to be allowed back in the United States. Like, so you really need to get it together right here. And of course he said, oh yeah, sure, no problem, blah, blah, blah. And then I don't even know how much time went by. Probably not that much. But what does he do? Cooks up some crack. Not to mention getting my 16-year-old cousin hooked on crack. So what ended up happening was he got caught. I think they raided his house, and they took him away. Like, they took him away and deported him back to, I'm pretty sure he was from Mexico. And they took him away, and that was the last time that my cousin ever saw his dad. And like, here and there, like, I've talked to him and stuff, and like his dad will call his phone number, and like he'll like just be talking Spanish. Like, he'll just like say, like, Feliz cumpleaños, like just like totally speaking in Spanish. So like, that's I mean, as of now, I mean, I would hope that he's still alive, but considering the lifestyle that he was living, I really don't know. Um, but I mean, I hope he's doing better, Like, I don't think it's cool to get a 16-year-old hooked on crack. Like, that's like a little much. Smoke weed, sure, whatever, but crack, like, that's some serious shit. So thankfully my cousin is cool, and he's mellow, and like he's more of a stoner than anything. So he did trip out on the West Coast weed, because he's used to being like smoking dirt weed on the East Coast in like Virginia or whatever. So I told him, like, yo, we're gonna go to the shop, and then I got like the best weed possible or whatever. So it was nice to spend time with my cousin. That was like the first time that I actually spent time with him. Um, and he stayed down here for like a little while. It was when I was living in South Redondo. But yeah, it just, it was crazy when I went to the funeral. Like all the names, you know how the names are on the brochure or whatever, and it's like all these names that are like, you know, white sounding names, white sounding names, white sounding names, and then when it gets to my aunt and my cousin, it is a Hispanic last name that I'm not going to disclose, but it starts with a V, and it does not like fit into any of the other names that were on that brochure. So it just kind of always stuck out, and just the fact that like my aunt won't eat Mexican food, she doesn't like Mexican music, like it just seems like I guess the heart wants what the heart wants, you know. Like I said, I've been there, so um, yeah. So, anyways, that's the story of how my uncle got deported. And in between those times, he hopped the border like probably like 5 times, but he always ended up getting taken back. But he did it with no shoes one time. I thought that was pretty cool. But like he was trying to get back, but he would just get caught, or he'd be on a train or whatever the thing was. But he was trying to get back. But now I think he's just become comfortable in Mexico, and he's probably going to stay there until he does something shady that the cartel takes him out or something. I don't know. I don't want to have like negative wishful thinking on him or whatever. So, anyways, that's the story. I hope you guys liked it. And considering that it's 8 o'clock in the morning, I'll probably crank out another video for the rest of the day. So, hope you guys have a good one, and peace.